No. Rhodri.
Is there anything that Lionel Messi is better than you at? It's opinions. I respect your opinions. Maybe in your opinion Messi is better than me, but in my mind I'm better than him.
I do it again.
Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me. Oh, you matter what? Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me. Oh, you matter what? Told her if it's all me, everything is on me. Gon' back it up. Matter what? Told you I'ma do me. Why you hating on me? It's not adding up. I do roll like a Mack truck. Country heart, I might cop a farm and go act up. Lot of scars, I was cold-hearted, now I'm back up. Keep it real, I do this once a month, I don't rap much. I just hit the money and go stack up. Only buy Carhartt cards and get tatted up. All that other bull, it don't matter much. You only climb me, I put the ladders up. No fault, I done doubled up on the workload. I think I fell in love with the bankroll. Pray up, get money, then we lay low. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me. Oh, you matter what? Add it up,
Yes, guys, I'm Si. Welcome to Ace Podcast Nation, the home of Rhodri Giggs on football. We are back after a week off last week. I was it's been rough for a week, only today, really, well, I've sort of been able to speak and get my voice back. So kind of essential for podcasting. But we're back, lots to discuss. We've got the World Cup, we got the Championship back. Plus, of course, transfer window will be opening soon and the Christmas period, World Cup final on Sunday. Among other things, England have gone out as well since we last did a show. So lots and lots and lots to discuss. But just as we wait for some of the latecomers and whatnot, let's do a little update of our Super Six. So for those of you who don't know, we do a Super Six prediction league run through Will Melush, raising money for charity. We do it each week. We go through give our predictions, stuff like that. Going into the last round, Rhodri had a big 8-point lead over me. He was rubbing it in a bit, and he was really felt like I thought it was all over. But the last round of the Super Six was the 4th of December. So even though we didn't have a show last week, we haven't missed the Super Six update, and it is a big one. I scored a magnificent, unbelievable, captivating, wonderful 18 points, whilst Rhodri scored a big, fat zip because he forgot to do his predictions. So Rhodri went in with an 8-point lead and is now turned into a 10-point lead for me. Come on. A big congratulations, however, to Sally Griffiths, who actually won the round through the golden goal. We both got 18 points, but she beat me by getting, I think she was like a minute less than me in her prediction. The next round is Boxing Day at 3:00. We'll do our predictions at the end of tonight's show, I think. But yeah, as always, I'm joined by the man himself, ex-Salford City, ex-FC United, and of course, ex-Bangor City winger, Mr. Rhodri Giggs. How are you, my friend? You good?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Just my computer started, like I said, my computer just started to update, so I'm on my phone.
You've normally got so much to say about the Super Six, mate. Is there anything you'd just like to comment on?
No, it's a rookie move on it, amateur hour again, but you need all the help you can get. It's not a problem.
10-point lead now, mate. Got to get yourself together.
It's not even Christmas, mate. All right.
It's like a Christmas present, wasn't it? That's what it was. But in fairness, we've been quite close all the way through. So, like, even though I got a 10-point lead now, really, like, there's probably a good chance I'll forget to do a round between now and the end of the season. You've got to just capitalise, haven't you, when the other teams drop points?
Yeah, but it went with the norm, though, wasn't it? That's why you got so many high points. So we probably would have both got round about the same. Yeah. So
there's a couple of draws, I think, which helped me out as well because I got I think 2 draws, got 5 points on one of them. So
okay,
it's all good. But funny enough, like I was saying, like to my boy's got a big game on Saturday because if they win and the other result goes their way on the next pitch, they'll go top of the league going into Christmas, which is obviously handy, innit? Christmas present. But like, you got to if the other team slips up, you got to make sure you don't slip up, haven't you? And obviously, you've seen United over the years in these title chases. When your opponents drop points, you've got to make sure that you really nail it home with a good performance.
Especially when usually,
Right,
especially these days when you don't really play on the same day and one of them will play before, or
right, we'll start with the World Cup, mate, tonight, and then we'll kind of work our way to the Championship towards the end. Before we talk about the final and we preview that and we talk about the semi-finals, what have you made of the World Cup as an overall thing? Because obviously it was quite a controversial thing coming in. You had people saying they weren't going to watch it, and it was weird because of the time of year as well. Like, how have you found it?
Yeah, it's just a World Cup. It's just found it like another tournament, really. It's not. It's like it doesn't really feel any different.
No,
to me, no, not
I
really.
think the time of year has made it a little bit weird.
Yeah, the time of year a little bit weird, but with it being hot over there, and for me, it's just obviously the timing. It's a bit weird, but other than that, no, it's been a good tournament. I think it helps when you've been playing and you within a week you're into a World Cup, so everyone's fit, ready to go. No games to warm up. They're all fit.
They haven't just played like a long season either.
No, and they haven't had like warm up games where they're like friendlies. They've had real intense run up to the World Cup, so they'll all be raring to go fit. Had a little break because obviously the run up to the World Cup, they would have been playing 3 games a week. So with a little week's rest, and then boom, you're into the World Cup. So no, it's been.
Let me ask you a question then, mate. Do you think the quality has been any different because of the time of year, in terms of players being fitter and stronger?
Yeah, because of what I've just said. Yeah.
Do you think it's been noticeable that the players are fresher?
No, not noticeable, I would say, but it just.
It is different, isn't it? Coming in after a long season, especially like, for instance, if a team has finished second on the last day of the season,
and England used to always say, the English season is a real grueling season at the end of the season, But they've only played like 3 months, so this will be perfect for the English or for people for the English league, because yes, it's intense, but they've only been playing 3 months and they're still match fit. They haven't had a rest, the little pre-season games. They're full, they're raring to go. So it's difficult, but it's just common sense that they're going to be fit, match fit, and you're going to get better gains from the start.
Okay,
but it's you'd still rather it in the summer, because that it's always been. They still, even though they've had a long grueling season, they do get 3 weeks, 4 weeks break. So it's they still do get a rest. They get a little holiday, then they're back into training camp. So yeah.
You mentioned England, mate. Obviously they're out now. Like, before the tournament, mate, you said that you thought that anything outside of winning it or like a final appearance was failure. I saw a lot of people kind of saying, they played really well against France. They were probably the better team. So they didn't, I don't know. But like, do you stand by what you said before the tournament, that that's a failure, that they only got to the quarterfinal? Or do you think that there's kind of context to it and it's not necessarily a failure?
It's a failure.
I think so.
Quarterfinals with that team.
Yeah, and I also thought they should have.
And when you get to this stage and you play, it's small margins. It's small margins, Harry Kane misses a penalty and they're out. If he scores that penalty, they probably go on and win it.
Yeah, I think so.
So it's very small margins. But
I didn't think. I thought, like when I looked at that bench that England had, and like you got like for instance, Callum Wilson doesn't get on the pitch. James Maddison didn't play a minute in the whole World Cup, and I just felt like soon as Harry Kane's missed that penalty with 8 minutes to go of normal time plus probably 10 minutes of injury time, I just felt like they looked so like Harry Kane he went to pieces after the penalty. He just looked distraught, understandably. And I thought a lot of the other players, in fact, the one player I thought who really tried to get him going after the penalty miss was Jude Bellingham, who ironically is the youngest player in the team. Like, he's definitely a future England captain. You can see it on him. But I just felt like that was the time to maybe, they had nothing to lose. That was the time to try and get, Callum Wilson on, James Maddison on, just try and get something because, they had nothing to lose, mate. And I saw a lot of people saying, oh, they were the better side against France. But look, they weren't the better side. They lost the game. And I think France were ruthless, mate. Like when they had a chance, they took it or half a chance. Like England had 2 penalties, scored one, missed one. They didn't create a great deal outside of that for me.
No, I was speaking to my pals, and I always find that England play with their handbrake on, and
yeah,
it's a shame.
That's a perfect way to say it, I think.
They've got a really attacking team, and real good options as well. Later on, last 30, last 20 to bring on real quality.
Pace as well.
Pace, quality. No, yeah. Bringing £100 million player on with 2 minutes to go. What's he supposed to do with 2 minutes?
Yeah. What do you think, Southgate? Is it time for him to move on in one way or another, or do you think he's still the right man for them?
This is a difficult question because they've got good relationships and stuff, but it is the kind of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to get to these latter stages, but he just hasn't got that cutting edge. He hasn't got that cutting edge to win the finals and actually win the top.
Killer instinct, sort of
the most important game, yeah. So,
what do you make of Jamie Carragher's comments this week? I think he did an article saying that the English manager should always be English, and he took a lot of criticism from various people, from fans, from media, from former players. Some people called him racist, and the rest of it. Like, where do you stand on that comment and the article?
No, he's absolutely right. He's absolutely right. Why would you go outside of England?
And I mean, if you look at when they've gone for foreign managers, it hasn't really gone that well, have it? For you to look back and go,
no, but
I wish.
You've got to look at other countries. Other countries, they don't do it. Why would England want to do it?
At the end of the day, I think it's about getting the right man for the job. No one is going to be prouder than someone leading their own country, for one. No one's going to care more about that job than... You can't tell me that like an Englishman is not going to be prouder and more determined than someone who's just there for the fat paycheck. Like, regardless of, quality and stuff like that, I just think... I get it. I just think it should be the right person for the job, whoever that person is. Now, to me... there was rumours that the FA talked to what's his name? What's the former Chelsea manager's name?
Tuchel.
Yes. So apparently they had a little chat with him to see if he'd be interested in it. The only reason I find that quite sort of interesting, or why that might work, is because he's quite an attacking manager. And I look at the squad that England have. I look at the squads they've had over the years, and you had the perfect sort of way of saying it. They always play with the handbrake on. And I just feel like if they played attacking against France, you've got to protect yourself with the back and stuff because they've got quality and they've got pace, which Kyle Walker kept Mbappe pretty quiet. They forgot about Giroud and a couple of the other lads. But Griezmann in the first half just reminded the world that he's still a quality player. I thought
Yeah,
it was
brilliant
outstanding.
as well.
But mate, do you know what? It was driving me nuts watching that, because I was just like, if you were coaching your boys' team, right, and there was a player on the other team who was like running the game, the basic thing you'd be saying to the boys is, don't give him any time. As soon as he gets on the ball, get into him, make him rush. Like, that's just a basic thing. And England just gave him so much time, mate.
I know what you're saying, but there's certain players that find this kind of space, and they're world class for that reason alone. And Griezmann,
I do get that, but when he gets the ball, mate,
if you
go stand off him,
if he takes you into a different space, then it can leave all different. Yeah, so
I do get that, but like when he gets the ball, like you've got a midfield of, what was it, Henderson, Bellingham, and Rice. Rice is the holding mid, like the one who's going to stay. So tell Bellingham, someone who's got the legs to get everywhere, as soon as he gets the ball, get stuck into him, make him run. And they just gave him so much time. He could just turn in on the ball, having a look. So go this way, that way. And it was just like, I don't know. I just thought it was really like, and don't get me wrong, he was excellent and he was very clever in the positions he took up. And he went very deep sometimes. He was almost on like, taking it off for defense like a holding midfielder. But when he got that ball, I just felt England gave him too much time. Second half, they closed him down a bit more, but the damage was done in some ways, because I think psychologically they switched off. Like, I thought they really switched off with the Giroud goal. Like, literally, I think I texted you, like 2 minutes before Giroud scores that header, Pickford saves one from him, and he's had a literal free header. No one's around him. That's your warning. Don't give him another chance. Like, he's France's all-time top scorer. Like, he's not there by fluke.
Again, you've got to look at the quality of the ball. The header's going wide. It's it Maguire. Sometimes you just got to take your half, and it's a world-class goal. And it's a world-class ball, world-class movement by France's all-time leading striker, who's a World Cup winner, who's very good in the air. Harry Maguire, will he be upset about it? Probably, because he's just got the run on him. But, what these top strikers do. And and the ball was
superb, wasn't it?
World class, yeah.
And look, I think France arguably have probably been the best side so far I've seen in a tournament. I'm not entirely convinced by Argentina, because I don't think in the games where they've really turned it on, haven't been against teams which have played particularly well on the night, or the bigger teams. So I'm interested to see how they do against the France side.
Again, is that not down to the opposition not letting them? No.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, France thought France looked really shaky at the back, and that was another thing. Like, about England,
well, that's the weakness of France, and that's the weakness of England. But that's why you've got to,
But that's why didn't England get them? If everyone can see that France are a bit shaky at the back, why are you not using that squad and those players to really put them under pressure? Okay. Like, why are they playing with the handbrake on if they know that that's their one? It's a one-off game, mate. At the end of the day, it's a knockout game, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, I just think, would another manager have got more out of the same side, same players, same 11? Yeah, and I just think yes. And if that's the answer,
but if you look at the teams, I wish you had the list. I was looking at it, and it was a pathetic list. If you look at the list of teams that they've beat in the World Cup,
yeah, no big teams in there, is that really?
It's embarrassing, yeah. And then the big teams the so-called big teams that they've been beat by, it's not good. It's not good. Because
even when they got to the final of the Euros, they didn't meet anyone until the final that you wouldn't expect them to beat.
Yeah, exactly. And you're at home. Italy were not really a good side, and they end up beating you. Yeah, so at the Croatia side, you should be beating Croatia. Look at France. Argentina. They put them to the sword in the semi-final. just one game too far for Croatia, but still from a country that's got 3-4 million people to constantly get to semi-finals. Yeah,
I just thought it was open. I said to you, whoever wins this game, I thought was going to win the tournament because the way the whole thing had opened up, the teams that had gone out. I thought it was England's best chance to win.
Well, no, the way it's opened up, there's always Argentina that's still there, and you got that Messi just seems to be getting better and better in the tournament. So
timing it, isn't he?
Yeah,
it's his last World Cup game. He said as well. So good, him and Ronaldo. In my opinion, they deserve to go out on their own terms to a certain extent. So, part of me wants even though I'm sort of, I think, in the Ronaldo-Messi thing, I'm a Ronaldo guy.
So for me, it's all down to Gareth Southgate, really.
I thought so.
If he decides to stay, then you've got to give him, let him see out his contract, and then see where you're at after the next Euros, because he's earned that. By getting to semi-finals and finals, yes.
He's not won it, that, mate. I'm not having he's earned it. He gets paid an absolute fortune, mate.
Well, no, but look what he's done with
this is a failure, mate.
Look at what he's done with this squad, though. He's not left them. If he goes, the next manager's come in and go, what have I got here now? He's left them with an elite squad. He has built an elite squad, an elite togetherness, camaraderie, all that the manager could go in and wouldn't have to do much. Where previous managers have come in and it's England's in turmoil. England aren't in turmoil.
No, I accept that. But I just think, look, if you up until this tournament, every tournament.
You're getting rid of him, who are you going to bring him in?
Now this is the question. So whilst I think maybe the time is right for him to leave,
well, exactly.
there isn't someone who I think, or at least I think of straight away, that I think, that's the guy. Like I saw some people on social media saying,
like, conversation, isn't
it? Get Gerrard in and all that. And I was like, fucking hell, really?
No.
But I mean, Craig makes, just to finish off with England, it makes the perfect point, which I was trying to think of the game to bring up, and he said France struggled against Tunisia because Tunisia hit them with pace and they put them under pressure. And Southgate just didn't play to England's strengths. France were there for the taking, in my opinion. I really do.
He should have played Rashford and Saka.
Well, admit, after the way Rashford's played in the last couple of games before that, how he doesn't start.
You can't drop Saka and Rashford's on fire, and they've both got pace, and they go at you. So, and they put you on the back foot. But
Rashford looked dangerous.
Did he go with Foden?
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
And that Foden was a weird one because he didn't play Foden and Rashford for the first couple of games. Then obviously Sterling left, and then he played Rashford and Foden in that third game.
He's obviously looking at the opposition and who matches well with what. Which he's got you're only talking about that. All these players are top quality players: Saka, Rashford, Grealish, Foden. So who matches up better? Who they're playing against? That's what they would have looked at. Who's the better impact sub out of them all? And Rashford's probably the better impact sub out of them all because he's come on, he scored 2 goals, and he does well when he comes on. He's got pace.
Yeah, I agree with that in that Rashford's the better sub. However, if I'm looking at France and how I can beat them, inform Rashford, Saka alongside Harry Kane with Bellingham.
It goes back to
the perfect combination of getting at them.
It goes back to having the handbrake on. Why not starting with Rashford? You're thinking about, if we need an impact sub.
Exactly.
Just negative thinking. If that's
go and win the game and don't need a sub, do you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But it's interesting. Borough fan, who's a proud Englishman, says, like, evening everyone, I'm with you, Si. You throw the kitchen sink at it. There's nothing to lose, everything to gain. And that's what it comes down to. It's a one-off game. France, of course, have got incredible quality. But
they threw the kitchen sink at it. They got a penalty and they missed it.
Yeah, but they did, like you say, they threw the kitchen sink at it.
And they were a better team, but it's not about.
But I'm talking about from the start.
It's about going through to the next round.
Yeah, but I'm on about like the way they played the game as a whole. They should have, they should have gone for a more attacking way of playing to get at France's weaknesses. France's biggest weakness is down the side.
It's all right saying that, though. You've got one of the quickest players of world football ever to walk the planet, and you're gonna leave him open. What do you mean?
Yeah, but they don't need to leave him open, do they?
These are no scrubs. The world champions side.
Oh,
and you say throw the kitchen sink at them. They were the better team. They just didn't get through because they missed the penalty. And France have got that know-how to get through to the next round. It's that simple.
So they've got the kill. What France have got is that ruthless killer instinct. If you give them a chance in a big game, they take it. You don't get a second go. England haven't got that. Does that come from the manager? Does that come from not winning a World Cup or whatever so long? I'm asking the question.
Remind me who the top goal scorers in the World Cup were?
What, last time round?
No, this time.
I'm not 100% sure, mate. Who is the top scorer?
I do research. It was England.
Well, that's what you're there for. I'm the host.
Yeah, so I don't know. The highest goal scorers in the World Cup. They're playing against the World Cup holders. They've scored a goal and they've missed a penalty. Yes, they didn't score by open play, but they were the better team. But World Cup football is not about being better team. It's about getting to the next round. And that's what they didn't do. The average team of that is probably about, 23, 24? So, no, it's good experience. But yet, if you're in that squad, you're still thinking, it's a missed opportunity there. We should be winning this. Well, at least get into the final this World Cup. And they've failed.
Let me ask you a question then, to finish off with England. If Rashford starts, if say Maddison starts instead of Henderson and they go a bit more attacking in the middle, do you think it's a different result?
I don't know. I really don't know. I really don't know.
So
hypothetical. If you play the better players who are on form, it's more than likely you're gonna people who are on form, confident,
Yeah, you should go. I think I said before the tournament, in this type of tournament football, you've got to go with the form players, not the players who are, tried and tested.
Can't say, he was tired because he was fresh. Yeah, he was the highest goal scorer in the team. Rashford had coming off the bench last 30 minutes. Yes, he started the game, but he was fresh. Yeah, so there's no excuses there. So
another great point from Craig, mate.
And things to look back on and think, oh, we made a mistake there. We can't make that mistake again. Should we have done this? Should we have done that? So,
another great point from Craig. He says Griezmann played as a holding midfielder against Morocco because of the pace that Morocco had. So to stop that threat, they changed their tactics and their position. Obviously, he said if England did that, then it could have stopped him from pulling the strings in the first half. So is that a weakness of England, not just this time round, but over the years, that they are too rigid in this is my team, this is how we play. They don't really vary it up too much.
No. It's a 50-50 game, and if you're the better team, you should just need to win it. It's small margins at World Cup football against world class talent. Like I said, with the second goal, it's a world class ball, world class run. It's a goal. It's small margins. Harry Kane missed a penalty. Small margins. We're nitpicking now.
Yeah,
they were the better team, so it
doesn't matter.
They were the better team. They just didn't score enough goals.
I'm not having this narrative that I saw a lot of media people saying that the ref was what cost England.
We've just been given the final, so
England, they had the chance, they had the penalty, they had the opportunity. They also had the whole game to implement whatever style whatever type of play they wanted to do, and they didn't. So whilst they were the better team, in my opinion, they played with the handbrake on, and it cost them. Regardless, didn't take their chances.
You're going to get bad referees, but the chances were there to see.
He gave them 2 penalties.
If you take that penalty, I believe they go on and win it. So
I think so too.
Momentum, the quality that England had on the bench, even if it went to extra time. Yeah, I would think they would have gone on to win that.
And like you say, England were the best team, and I kind of agree with you. But also, like Jordan Pickford's made more saves than Lloris did during the game. So, France probably created more, I think. So even though England, I don't know. I don't know if I agree that England were the better team.
Created more. All the one that matters is 2 France, 1 England. That's the major one. And it was, France come on top.
So you mentioned Messi starting to, he's gradually got better with each game. Let's talk about that first semi-final. The Argentinians versus, we had Argentina versus Holland first in the quarterfinals. Wanted to talk about that because that got a bit testy, that did. Were you impressed with the way Holland played in that game? He's gone.
Sorry, mate.
But no, sorry, mate. I just asked if you were. I wanted before.
It is
flipping freezing, mate. Before we talk about the Argentina semi-final, I just wanted to ask you about the Holland Argentina game. Were you impressed with like the way Holland played in that Argentina game, or do you think again for them that was almost like a bit of a missed opportunity, especially when they scored that late? Because they scored that late goal, didn't they? In like the 99th minute to equalise, take it to extra time, and then in extra time they changed their tactics back to the tactics which hadn't worked for them. Instead of keeping with the physical ball up to the striker, that was causing all sorts of problems. They went back to their kind of, they didn't stick with the tactics that had got them back in the game.
Yeah,
basically.
It's pretty like a boring 30 minutes, wasn't it, after an exciting end?
Yeah.
You stick with just like we were saying before, didn't you? You go with what works, and to score against that, it just got back to two goals. Is a strange decision.
Yeah, it was a weird one. So the first semi-final was Argentina versus Croatia. Before the game, were you thinking Croatia had a good chance, or did you expect the Argentinians to sort of...
You'd expect Argentina to win, but you'd expect Croatia to give them a good account of themselves. But yeah, Argentina were, after that second goal went in, it was an easy win for them in the end.
It almost looked like a bridge too far, didn't it, for Croatia? Like once that second goal went in, it was just a non-contest.
Really, really impressed with Morocco. Really good game. Still in it with 20-25 minutes to go, but when France scored the second, obviously it
killed it, didn't it?
Yeah, it killed it. But really,
on another day, mate, those Moroccans take their chances, and that's a very different game because they had some really big chances. They hit the post and this, that, and the other. Like, I really felt for them because on another day, those goals go in. It's fine margins, mate, isn't it? And on another day, those chances go in, and it's a very, very different game. Craig says Croatia lack an out-and-out goal scorer, and I think that's probably right. Obviously, they're still quite reliant on Modric. But they've got some other good players as well, mine now. But Modric, obviously, probably done now. How good is Modric, in your opinion?
Oh, yeah, unbelievable. Really good player. Just one of them players that
goes under the radar, doesn't
he? Not necessarily, just can control games, and it's so difficult to do. There's not many people who can do it.
No. In terms of the final, mate, Argentina versus France, that's a big, big game. That is. There's history there as well.
Why is the history there?
Well, they played in Russia in the last World Cup. It was 4-3 to France, and it was a bit niggly and it was a great game, really good game. So Argentinians, look, they're going to want to, it's a World Cup final, they want to win anyway. 2, they're going to want to send Messi off like the legend that he is. And they're going to also want to correct the loss from the last World Cup where France sent them out. From a French point of view, they want to be the first team for 20 years, I think it is, to ever win the World Cup back-to-back. There's so much little things going on.
Has anyone ever done that?
Yeah, I think there was someone about 20 years ago, last team to win it back-to-back. I think so. I think it was. I'll see now. Last team. How do you see the final going, though, mate?
Oh,
what sort of game do you think it'll be? Do you think it'll be open?
I fancy Argentina. I do fancy Argentina. I think France.
Good going forward, isn't they? But
I just think Argentina are a better team.
I look at the two sides' defenses because we know all about the attacking players in both teams, right? But I look at the defenses, and Varane, I don't think is fit. He looks like he's still trying to find his fitness. And then I look at the Argentinian defenses, look solid. But then we've seen over the years in the Premier League, mate, Otamendi has got a mistake in him, and they seem to be favouring Otamendi and the other guy over Martinez. I know Martinez has played a couple of games, but he seems to be more of the sort of second choice.
They have got a strong team, though. Dybala's just got 50.
Dybala's just coming back from fitness as well, mate, which makes it.
Di Maria didn't play in the semi-final, but he was fit. So they have got real good options. Have France got them options? I know the kid come on and score his first touch, but in the semi-final, but that was Mbappe's work. But no, I still fancy Argentina.
Yeah, Dybala getting fit now is not a bad option to have, is it, off the bench if they're tiring and stuff like that, because he's got a bit of quality in him. Look, from a French point of view, I think they need a big game from Griezmann. They need a big game from Mbappe and Giroud. They've got to keep it tight at the back. I think Lloris will have a big say in how the game goes because he's a phenomenal keeper, but he's not getting any younger. So the only two teams who have ever won the World Cup and defended it are Brazil in 1962, which was the last team to do it, and Italy in 1938. So you're talking like 60 years ago was the last time it was done. Which shows how hard it is to do, really, doesn't it?
Yeah. Definitely.
So yeah, that's quite an elite group. So you fancy Argentina, Messi to go out with a bang, and I would expect him to retire from international football either way anyway, after this World Cup final's over. Where do you think the biggest danger is from an Argentinian point of view? Like, where can France hurt them the most? Is it just Mbappe, or is there, do you see it a bit more, differently to that?
It's obviously, Giroud, they ain't the biggest at the back.
No.
So, and Giroud's very good in the air. So, you'd think they target him. But there's some Dembele, Rabiot. I'd like to look at the Rabiot, but then if he's going to be fit. But
I wonder if they'll play Griezmann alongside Rabiot to try and, cause Argentina a problem, like they caused England the problem with Griezmann being, getting on the ball deep and trying to work it that way, because then they'll have a decision whether to close him down. And like you said with England, if they go close him down in those positions he takes up, it leaves gaps elsewhere, and then that's when the likes of Mbappe and Dembele and Giroud can hurt you. So I think it's really interesting. Messi has just been a delight, I gotta say. Like that ball, which game was it where he played that reverse pass as he's running across the front of the box, and he's got like the whole defense line in front of him, and he's kind of running from right to left, and he just plays a reverse pass without looking to the striker, and he just gets it and knock. I think it was the Holland game. The ball, mate, was just sensational. And he just looks like he's just gearing up, doesn't he? But then it's coming up to Christmas, mate. These top players, they're used to hitting their peak over Christmas, aren't they? And the start of the new year. So this is almost good for them. But Argentina have got quality everywhere, mate. It's I think when we talked at the start of the tournament, I think Argentina, France, and England were the three teams that we picked, like with the strongest squads in terms of depth and people who can do stuff off the bench and outside of their first 11, which is interesting. I look at that Argentina squad, and there is a lot of really good good players, but like some of them haven't played, you know. So like up front, you've got Messi, Martinez, Dybala, Carrera from Atletico Madrid, Julian Alvarez from Man City, Almeida from America, Gomez from Seville. And then even in midfield, you've got that McAllister from Brighton, who I think is exceptional. I'd be very surprised if he's still at Brighton next year. Fernandez from Benfica. But also, you've got Di Maria's barely played. Like, Di Maria on his day is a quality winger on his day. I'll never forget that goal he scored for United. You know, when he scoops it over the keeper versus Leicester. I think it was like his second or third game. And it's such a special goal. And I thought, God, he's going to be a player for them. And it didn't happen, did it? But like on his day, he's capable of doing something special. So, you know, if things aren't going to plan for Argentina, they can bring on a Dybala or they can bring on a Dybala. They can bring on a Di Maria, a Dybala, and they can do some damage, mate, off the bench. I look at the French squad, and I'm not sure if they've got the same attacking options off the bench. So, like, if things aren't going Argentina's way, they can bring on a Dybala or a Di Maria. French World Cup squad, like if things aren't going their way with the first 11, which players are you looking at and thinking, right, they can do something off the bench?
What, for Argentina?
The French squad. You got Kingsley Coman from Bayern, I suppose.
Coleman, Thuram.
Who's the boy? Muani, is it? Is he the one that scored the other day off the bench?
Yeah, Muani. They have got options. I just think
they're not as proven. I don't think as.
No, but that doesn't mean that.
No, it doesn't.
That might be a benefit from it if they're unknown. But no, it's who turns up on the day. It's like we talk about England. It's 50-50. It's small margins. Whoever turns up. Can Messi turn up? Can Messi do it? A little bit of magic again.
Craig's got a question. He says, "Can Benzema go back?" So Benzema was called up into the World Cup squad, right? And he's fit now. They didn't replace him, so can he technically play?
Yes,
because he was in the squad. He was named in the official squad.
Yes, no, he can.
Definitely. Now that is an interesting conundrum for the French coach. Like, I wouldn't say necessarily start him, but you could have him on the bench would be such a lift, wouldn't it? So, you know, he's just won the Ballon d'Or. Like, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, you need a goal with 15 or 20 minutes to go, and you look behind you. You want to see the quality of Karim Benzema. Oh, yeah.
Would you start him if he was fit? Would you start him?
No. What leaves you out?
I don't know how they normally do it. Do they leave Giroud out or do they play him together?
You know, it's French. People disrespect Giroud. He's the French's highest goal scorer. He won the World Cup last time with him. With him, yes, he didn't score any goals, but he brings players in. That's why players love to play with players like that, because he gives other players around him opportunities. So no, imagine they dropped him and they got beat.
Yeah, it'd be a pro, wouldn't it? Especially like you can't drop Mbappe, you can't drop Giroud, you can't drop Griezmann.
Can't drop Dembele. That free's set.
And I don't think you can play for all four of them from the start.
No, and like I say, you need an option off the bench. Who better to have than Karim Benzema? I'm sure he probably wouldn't expect to play. So, it'd be a good option, like I said, to have on the bench.
Jazz, get out. My dog is just clumping around everywhere.
Has the sound changed now? Is it a bit better?
It's my dog just knocking about behind the green screen.
No, I'm saying my sound. Does it sound better now? Or is it just the same?
Your sound, yeah, it sounds a little bit better now. Since you've switched over. Only a little bit. So before we do our prediction for the World Cup final, mate, I know you said Argentina. What do you think the score is going to be? Penalties, extra time. What do you reckon? Well, Rodri's frozen a minute, So I'll give my predictions. I think France will win on penalties. Myself, I think it'll be a draw in normal time, extra time, and then it'll go to penalties. And I think France will win on extra penalties. However, Argentina's keeper is absolutely superb for penalties, so I don't think it's a given. But I think I'm going France on penalties, me. What's your prediction for the score, mate?
You know what? I moved my computer, right? And it went off, it turned itself off. I don't need this mic, I don't know. Go on, what was the question, mate?
Score for the World Cup final, mate.
2-1 Argentina.
Okay, interesting. Craig's gone 3-2 Argentina. I just got a feeling France are going to do it. I don't know.
What, leave Messi crying his eyes out on the pitch? Yeah.
Brutal, mate. Before we do our Super Six predictions, let's talk a bit of Championship football, because the Championship was back, which was really strange while the World Cup was going on. But I suppose
it was on the other day, and I thought, I ain't watching this shit.
Yeah.
Who was it? Burnley and someone else. QPR, was it? I thought, I ain't watching this.
It was brutal after watching the World Cup for the last couple of weeks. Seeing that Burnley game.
No, but it looked freezing.
Yeah.
It looked freezing. Like, I've just been watching people with their t-shirt and shorts, and it goes to
sweltering.
Everyone's wrapped up, freezing cold.
Some interesting results in the Championship, mate. Starting with Sunderland lost to West Brom. West Brom have been struggling.
I thought that Sunderland. I was watching that, and Sunderland went up 1-0.
No, West Brom won 2-1, which has taken them up to 17. West Brom have won 4 on the bounce now, so they're making a bit of a comeback. Who's the manager at West Brom now?
It was Steve Bruce, wasn't it?
Who's the manager? Carlos Coberon is the manager of West Brom. Fairly recently came in. He's been around the block up. He's 39. I thought he was much older than that. But yeah, I didn't think West Brom would be battling relegation like you expected them to get a run going eventually. And Sunderland have been solid. They're 11th. They're not in the relegation battle. They're not. I don't know if they'll be up there come the end of the season, but we'll see. Burnley thrashed QPR, which that break made for the World Cup, I think, really is going to hurt some teams and help some teams. Like QPR now haven't won for 5 games. They've lost 4 and drawn 1.
Lost their manager.
It's all a bit. So they've got Critchley in now as manager, but they need to try and get going again, because they're 9th. They can it could go either way, couldn't they? If they can get going again, they're getting the playoffs come the end of the season. But if they keep with this form, they're going to be down in the relegation zone before long. The Championship, you can't lose that many games on the bounce, and because you just get dragged down and down and down further. There's no escaping it. Preston annihilated Blackburn. Blackburn in 3rd, who had been pretty solid. They have lost 3 of the last 4, but Preston are on a good run. They've won 4 of the last 5, and they beat Blackburn 4-1, comfortable. And the thing with Preston is they score goals all over the pitch. Really, really good. Ched Evans, mate, got another brace.
Yeah,
I gotta say, if ever there's a player who just deserves a little bit of, I don't want to say luck, because it's not luck.
I think there's a movie there somewhere, isn't there?
There is, mate, isn't there? Especially what, he's got a couple of years left now. Go and get promoted this year, top scorer in a Championship.
Manchester City, plays for Wales, boom, in jail.
Comes
back out, starts playing again, scoring goals, happy as Larry.
Yeah, look, imagine, I would imagine that every time he scores a goal, it must feel special, because you've been there yourself, mate, where he was, it's
I'm not on the the non-swing.
No, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
like you've been in prison.
all
Like
right.
I didn't mean that you had done the same
No
crime.
problem. All
I
right.
understand you wanting to clarify though, which is fair enough. But look, he's he scored a brace. He's going, mate. He's scoring goals. So long may it continue. Hopefully, like I'm just trying to look how many he scored this year. Looks like he's got 5, I think. So he's chugging along. Be good. I would love to see him, mate. I would love to see him end up like top goal scorer or something. Just Preston got a good side, mate. They score all over the pitch, and I just think they might. I think they've been up or in and around the playoffs a lot over the last few years, so they know what they're doing. All right, you are. Ryan Lindsay says, "Hi, Si, Rhodri. Hope you're well. Si, I'm a Villa fan. Did you see or go to Peter Whittenham's memorial match the other day? I didn't because I was priorly engaged, but I heard it went pretty well. It was a bit like I talked about this last week or the last episode. Bit of a shambles the way Cardiff handled it. In all honesty, should have been done in the summer. Should have been done much quicker. Should have been not been a midweek game. Should not have been the day after England played Wales. So a lot of people were travelling back from Qatar, which had a massive effect on people being able to attend because they were scrambling to get back from Qatar. And it was just one of them things. My dog has just decided she's coming in here now. Jazz, what are you doing? Idiot dog. I apologise.
Mine was running around in circles before on the floor.
She's like the face. She's like that, like half an inch away from the wall, just staring at it, like as if it's the wall's like calling her. She's a weirdo. But yeah, look, it went. It was a great. Everyone I spoke to said that as a night and a thing, it was a great tribute to a great man. There was over 10,000 people there. I'm disappointed in the way Cardiff handled it and the time of year it was. The fact it was midweek and stuff like that. It was just very disappointing in terms of that. But in terms of the actual night, I've heard it was absolutely superb and a great tribute to a great man. So, what was I on? Preston. So, Middlesbrough picked up another victory by beating Luton Town. Cardiff, though, let's talk some Cardiff. They have
to.
They went 1-0 up away to Stoke. I bet that was cold, by the way. After 6 minutes.
Why? It's so cold. I've realised why it's so cold because it's obviously right next to the M6. 1 minute. Right, it's obviously right next to the M6, and it's on a hill as you're going up the A50 towards Derby, and it's proper breezy. Obviously, it's not fully. You've got gaps in the corner. They've got gaps in the corners. The wind flashes through. And it's proper windy. I'd rather have a night in Stoke than a night in Burnley. I know that.
Jesus. Glazebroker just said it was -10 in Partington today. Like, it was -6 in Cardiff, mate, this morning.
Yeah, it was -6. It was
brutal.
Yeah.
Absolutely brutal.
Yeah,
I got to say, I really, really, really struggled this morning. Like, Cardiff went 1-0 up away at Stoke, and then Stoke scored 2 quick goals to make it 2-1, and then Cardiff equalised towards the latter part of the second half. I thought Cardiff played relatively well, but I do think from a Cardiff point of view, it's time for them to unleash the young guns like Ruben Corwell and stuff. And actually, like, we've got some decent attacking creative players, so let's get it done. Let's actually play some football and score some goals. Like, much like I was saying about England earlier, like, if you've got all these players who are capable of creating and playing attacking football, why are you playing with the handbrake on all the time? I just don't get it. So I would like to see Mark Hudson get the likes of Ruben Corwell starting, Mark Harris starting more, and just seeing what they can do with a bit of freedom. Because these players, mate, and you'd have seen it supporting United. When you give young players start after start after start, and you give them a bit of freedom, they sink or swim. And if you give them that bit of freedom, sometimes you can find a few diamonds in there, mate.
No, 100%. 100%. It's you just got to put the work in, and it's difficult, but they are out there.
Well, Ruben Corwell, mate, is a special player. Like, we've seen what he can do in little bits. He gave him 3 minutes at the end of the game. Like, what is a young lad supposed to do with that? I just don't understand it. I do understand he had not long got back from Dubai and from Qatar, from the World Cup, but he didn't play in the World Cup. I don't think. I think he may have had a minute or two. But like, it's not like he's you got the travelling and stuff. It's not like he's exhausted from playing for Wales. He didn't play a great deal, if at all. So like, I don't know. I just don't. What are you expecting a young player to do with 3 minutes? Really, like any player, but particularly a young player. Like, what are you going to do?
No, it's like what we talked about with Jack Grealish before. What we're supposed to do with 3 minutes.
Yeah. James Maddison went to the World Cup, didn't play a minute of football. It just doesn't make no sense to me. Glazebroker says he hopes Argentina slap the French about in the final.
He what?
He said he hopes Argentina slap the French about a little bit in the final.
Wow. I was eating croissants for fun. Videos, mates, morning fellas, croissant. Beautiful Sunday morning I had.
Well, before that French game, me and you were speculating that if England were to win, we were just going to get a barrage of his coming home texts. So you have to put all your mates on mute for a couple of days because it was
there was a
bit brutal.
There's a few people that targeted. And
the noisy ones, mate, isn't it?
Yep, and I can be very noisy as well. Don't worry about that.
Shocking, mate. That really.
Morning, fellas. After a sad night, make sure you fill yourself up. Nice breakfast.
Yeah.
Like, croissant. Along that lines. Enjoy a nice croissant.
That's the way.
Onions. What else?
Was you fun? You had like a beret on with onions around your neck, just eating a croissant, like. Drool. Let's do our Super 6 predictions, mate. We gonna do a show next week, mate. It's like, what is it? What's the day? It'd be the day after Boxing Day, was it? I don't know. We'll have to let you all know, see where we are family wise and kids wise, and I'm sure we might try and fit something in or over that period at some point, but because there's lots of football. So it's 22nd, mate, next Thursday. Right. You good for that? Well, or is it a bit close to Christmas to do a show next week?
No, that's fine. I might even be down there. I might even be down there. Yeah, I don't know.
Is it?
I might be. Yeah.
But if you are, let me know.
Yeah.
Well, even without the show, mate, let me know, and we'll go for a sneaky bit of food or something.
If I'm going to be there, it's going to be there 22nd, 23rd. Come back the 23rd or 24th. Don't know yet.
Sweet. Predictions made for the next Super 6, which is on Boxing Day. So you've got Leicester versus Newcastle United. I've gone 2-1 Newcastle.
Let me do it now. So
Glazebroker says, "Fuck your French bread." That's what he says.
Who said that?
Great. Glazebroker. Yeah,
he's obviously still hurting, isn't he? Actually, you know what I'm going to have tomorrow with my soup? Some nice French bread.
Some nice French croutons.
Yeah, like nice baguette, French baguette. And then,
French onion soup is nice the winner, though, mate, isn't it? When French onion soup is done right, it's real good as well. I enjoy it. Nice French baguette. I do enjoy a croissant now in the morning, mate. I gotta be honest.
I don't like frog's legs. I don't like snails.
I had frog's legs once in a Thai restaurant, and it was me and my missus at the time, and my mate. Yeah, but I went to this Thai restaurant and I ordered frog's legs because I'd never tried them, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I want to try it," and just have a go. And I didn't realize that it's like a chicken wing, innit? You're supposed to eat the meat off it. I just ate the whole thing, bone and all. Like, oh, mate. When they told me afterwards, I felt rough, mate, rough.
Yeah, can't take
Embarrassing
you
as well. Can't take me anyway. You're right there, mate.
Say frogs have got no bones, you just eat the bones. You're daft.
Oh, mate, dude. I was a very young man.
I was just walking about boneless.
It was like, so it was before I met my missus. So you're talking like 20 years. So I was only a young man. I was probably 19, 20. Like,
calling you Trigger or Dave, one of the two. Which one?
I used to be called Dave.
Dave, yeah, Dave.
And Dave and Turbo was the other one I used to get called a lot. There we go. So what did you say? Newcastle and Leicester? I've gone 2-1 Newcastle.
Newcastle. I've just gone into my Super 6 and it's saying update. So, but no, Newcastle. Yeah, Newcastle. Newcastle being Saudi Arabia training. 2-1.
Crystal Palace.
2-1 Newcastle.
Let copy of me because he's 10 points behind. Crystal Palace versus Fulham. I've gone 1-1.
So I've just changed that Newcastle one because you just said that now.
Never change, mate. Never change.
I want to go 3-2. So Crystal Palace, Fulham 2-2.
Yeah, I've gone 1-1. And then we got Southampton, Brighton. I've gone 2-1 Brighton.
Southampton's got a new manager.
Pass.
The Welsh bloke.
Pass.
Welsh bloke from Luton.
Oh, Nathan Jones. Yeah, of course they have.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. I don't know whether I should change that now.
No. You can't do that now. 2-1 Southampton home win.
So I went 2-1 Brighton, but I'm thinking more now.
Why? Because the manager's Welsh.
Yeah, Nathan Jones. Isn't it? No, I'm going to stick with it. 2-1 Brighton. Everton versus Wolves. I've gone 2-1 Everton.
I bet you changed that one.
I won't change it. I promise. Brighton 2, Southampton 1.
Everton. Wolves got a new manager as well.
Have they? I don't think so. I don't know though, mate. I'm a bit out of the loop with the Premier League at the moment.
1-0 Everton.
So I went 2-1 Everton on that one, and then you got Villa versus Liverpool. The
2-1 Villa.
Oof! I've got 3-1 Liverpool because they've on a bit of a run at the moment. Liverpool are, especially away from home. So 3-1 Liverpool for me. And finally, Arsenal versus West Ham United at Arsenal. I have gone with 3-0 to the Gunners.
1-1. No Gabriel Jesus. Different team.
Interesting. West Ham.
You can't change the team off my advice.
West Ham been poor, mate, though, this year.
Had a break.
Yeah, you're right there, mate. Like, the form could not count for anything, could it?
Working with a very good coach. So not all the players at the World Cup. So
just reminded me of something to finish then, right? What do you make of Jadon Sancho being training on his own, personal plan?
We could get ourselves in trouble if I comment about this.
Right?
I'll tell you off.
Right. Okay. No comment then.
Yeah.
As always, guys, girls, people on the various platforms, nice one for watching. It's always available for audio download through the Sports Social Podcast network. Please check out them and their many podcasts they do. And of course, check out Violet Money, who support the channel. And check out all the other podcasts which we do and put together. We have a boxing podcast that I produce, but I don't host, on a Sunday night live on Facebook, among other things. And we've got lots of plans for 2023. But we'll be back next Thursday. Of course, there's shows on Patreon as well for the members. Monday and Wednesday next week as well. Going to be a busy week. Join us. But until then, we bid you farewell.
See you.
Nice one.